Okay. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the teacher feature for the International Herb Symposium. And I'm super excited to introduce you to Lyani
Mhm,
Powers.
mhm.
She's from Florida, but has, a really diverse cultural background and just really excited for her to come join us at the International Herb Symposium in Cincinnati. And I'm going to let her introduce herself, talk about her business and the classes that she's going to be teaching.
Okay, well, thank you so much. That was an awesome introduction. Yes, I am Lyani Powers. I am the owner of Modern Herbal Apothecary. We are located down here in Tampa, Florida. We are a bulk apothecary and also a clinical herbalist practice, but we're also a very big part of our local birth network. I have trained in different modalities. Started off in folk under my grandparents and gone into clinical herbalism and then into ethnobotany. And I love anthropology and history and how we have just aligned with plants through all these years. So that's one of my big passions. And this particular conference, I am really excited to be teaching our Rooted, which is herbs for pregnancy and postpartum. And it's more of a global perspective. I wanted to approach not only like reintroducing and like getting us back together with plants that have supported us since we've been having babies, but not only the plants that grow here, but a really wide perspective. I've been able to travel and train under some amazing teachers and parteras, and I wanted to share some of the wisdom that they wanted me to steward forward. So I have different herbs and different practices and a really fun take on how botanicals supports the entire maternal diet. So I'm just really excited to share that with you all.
Hmm. So that's your first class. And then what's the other class?
My other class is African Botanical Legacy, which is another one of my passions. I'm super passionate. So African Botanical Legacy, it's part of the education that we do here in Tampa through our Modern Herbal Academy. So we like to highlight how different plants traveled across the Atlantic, not just people, and some of the intimate relationships that they had before it came to the States, and then where it populated in the Americas and how they're still used to this day, and give reverence and honor and kind of refresh our perspective on some of these plants that kind of got boiled down to commodities, and remember like some of these medicinal actions and how they had been a part of our history for so long and how they still are. So I think it's a really important chance for us to kind of honor and rebuild a relationship with some of them.
Awesome. Yeah, well, I was just in Cincinnati, like scouting out for the trip, and at the Lloyd Library, they currently have an exhibit on African diaspora.
Oh,
And
beautiful.
it's, yeah, super neat exhibit. Kind of they have a lot of the old travel books and sort of talking about, certain plant species and kind of capturing, that time period. Where, like you said, these plants kind of hopped along as
Mhm.
these trade routes, happened. And um, so yeah, it's a really cool exhibit. And then they're gonna switch it over to an exhibit that's really focused on the eclectics and the eclectic school of medicine while
Mhm.
the event is happening. Um, so yeah, I think, I'm also like super passionate about ethnobotany.
Mm.
And so, I've read that about you, and I'm just, curious, like, how did that path happen for you? How did you sort of, you know, become super inspired about the ethnobotany of plants? And I know you mentioned, your grandparents, but
Mhm.
maybe you could talk a little bit about.
Sure. Yeah. I think that for me, when I was, going through school, hi person, when I was going
Yeah.
through school, when I was going through school, history always had a big impact. And once I found out about anthropology, that became a passion. And I was able to merge those two passions by finding all of this interesting information on how botanicals have supported us throughout ages and all different chapters of our lives, right? And I find that when I was like first creating my first materia medicas, that's the information that I kind of veered to. I veered to two places. I veered to the history of this plant and how we had used it, and like all the interesting facts and where it came from, the origin, and how it spread along with people as we migrated different places. But then I also was super interested in how plants were used for the maternal diet as well, everything from preconception to pregnancy to um, postpartum and lactation. So when I saw those two very clear places in my research, I was like, well, this is obviously where my heart is. So I just continue to dive further and further and look for any opportunity that would allow me to study deeper into that. And I was able to do that under amazing teachers, and that's kind of how my body of work has manifested into that way.
Hmm.
And I
Yeah,
feel,
go
go ahead.
ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, I feel like that's like with my students, I feel like that's like a very shared experience, you know, like
Hmm.
actually not just looking at a plant and like the phytochemistry of the plant, because yes, that is interesting. Those chemical constituents are very interesting and also can be seen as magic. But when you get to know a plant, you get to see the history of the plant, it becomes kind of this being, that you can have
Mm.
a relationship with, and it becomes multidimensional, not just this picture on a page. So I think that that's the beauty of ethnobotany, is you're kind of going back and building connection with old relatives.
Yeah, yeah, I love that perspective. And I mean, obviously, like you're in Florida, so there's like such a mix of cultures and you can grow all these tropical plants,
Yeah,
right? So it's,
that's been a perk, definitely. And when I travel and learn about something new, usually I'm gifted with like a seed or something, and I'm able to kind of grow a little something in our garden, especially from Puerto Rico, like where my family is there. I went and I did a lot of study under a plant chemist. And I was like, all of these plants live in Florida, but we think of them as weeds. So it's just
yeah.
learning this other life that they're living on in a completely different, and
I
I'm
love
like, oh,
that.
you're multidimensional. My bad. Let me get to know you a
Yeah.
little bit better. Yeah.
I love that. Um, yeah, so I'd love for you to share about your business and what you do and um how the modern apothecary
Mhm.
came to be and what you offer and how people
Sure.
can plug in if they want to um connect more, what online options you have, what things you're doing in the community and I don't know.
Okay. Yeah. So we started Modern Herbal about 5 years ago. We just had, not about, it is 5 years ago because we just had our 5-year anniversary.
That's huge.
That's
Congratulations.
huge. Yeah. Like we were so happy and pleased with ourselves. We made it. So yes. And we are like a retail store. So we of course have our shop online as well, where you can go and see our different products and get whatever herbs you need. But we also have like learning opportunities and workshops that we have online through like our Modern Herbal Academy, where we try to do fun stuff, you know. And we also have a garden that if you're local, a lot of people will come and you can get a bed and kind of create your own little herb garden if you don't have access to a lot of land where you live. So we try to teach people how to grow some of the different herbs that are native as well as ones that will work in our climate.
So is the garden right beside the store?
It's right behind the store, yeah. We have our
Yeah.
own.
Oh, that's
We have bees back there. We have a lot going on back there. It's small, but she's abundant.
yeah, I love that.
Yeah. I wanted, students to not only learn about plants, but to actually have, like I said before, like relationship with plant, like actually go out there, be able to sit next to it so you can understand it a little bit better, see what it's
Hmm. Hmm.
like in real life. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's fortunate that you have that kind of space with the
Yeah, it's a little space, but we made it work. We jammed packed little space. But we make it flex and work. Other things that we have going on, we have like the classes that, of course, that are online, but we also have books too. I wrote a book called Rooted Herbs for Pregnancy and Postpartum. It's like a global perspective. So that's something that people, if they're not able to get to me, they can grab that and a cookbook to go along with it. Yeah,
Wow, that's awesome.
yeah, a lot of yum.
Um, yeah, well, I loved hearing how you had met Rosemary,
Yes, that was a
and
yes.
how you found out about the International Herb Symposium. And so maybe you just share a little bit about that, because I think that sort of like, brings it full circle.
Sure. I was at Misty Meadows Herbal Conference in last year, and it was so beautiful. And I had the honor of meeting Rosemary Gladstar there, who of course, she's like instead of my Michael Jordan on my wall, it would be like
Right.
Rosemary Gladstar.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a few different like star herbalists that I like really look
Yeah.
up to. So when I met her, it was such an honor. And we had the opportunity to chat a little bit. It was an intimate space. And she mentioned the International Herbal Conference, and I was like, I definitely wanted that symposium, excuse me, and I definitely wanted to check that out. She was like, "Oh, you should check this out. You should go to Ohio." And I was like, "Okay, if she says it, I'm gonna do,
Yeah.
you know?"
That's awesome.
Of course. So I went and I looked it up and I applied. So I was really honored when you guys reached back out. I was like, oh, this is great. And I get to go
Yeah.
see. And I've been a member of United Plant Savers for quite some time. And I actually have it's ginseng root that's growing really well in North Carolina because my father has land in North Carolina. So
Oh, that's awesome.
yeah, I was able, he showed me a picture just the other day. He was like, look, baby, they're growing. I was like,
I love
yeah.
that.
Yeah. So I was really happy to go and see like where everything's coming from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, great. Well, thanks so much. And I look forward to getting to meet you actually in person. And I think that's,
You.
um, that's the beauty of the international, is that it's an opportunity, like you went and got to meet Rosemary, that's completely different meeting her in person and like online, right? Like we do all this stuff online, but it's also so important to like carve out these opportunities to actually like gather in person. And
Yeah, it's
um
a different level, right? It's
mhm,
a level of connectedness.
yeah. So,
Yeah.
well, I'm looking forward to meeting you in person, and I
Yeah,
will see you in Ohio. Thank you so much.
no problem.